Hey guys, welcome back to the Chaotic Kids channel, where I, Michelle, make fantasies come true, one story at a time. And today we are going to be kind of doing more of a sit-down chat video. This conversation is going to be about the fact that I'm currently going through a lot of imposter syndrome, which is very unusual for me. I typically, not necessarily have confidence when I'm writing, but typically whenever I'm writing my stories, it fully comes to me and the words flow and I don't really have problems. But at certain points in my story, obviously, like any typical writer, I feel like you go through this, kind of imposter syndrome. At least for me, whenever you hit, this, point that you're like, I don't know how to proceed going forward. And, I know some people might be able to, kind of resolve this issue whenever it comes by plotting and stuff. But I don't plot. I've never plotted a book, and even if I do attempt to plot, I feel like when I'm writing it, I'm like, oh, I've already told this story. I don't want to continue to tell this story. So it's just a lot of well, if I'm already kind of done it, then what's the point of redoing it again and again? But yet, whenever it comes to editing, I'm okay with continuing to tell the story to me multiple times. But yeah, so I don't know. Part of me is I am so glad that I enjoy my writing style, and I enjoy being a pantser, fully just letting the story tell itself. But yet, whenever I come to these points, whenever I'm feeling a lot of imposter syndrome, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do now? I have no idea how to proceed moving forward. And I don't know I'm sure someone out there has gone through imposter syndrome before. And typically whenever I do go through imposter syndrome, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna blaze forward anyways, which then leads to burnout, or at least a more significant, writer's block. But yeah, I'm just kind of going through this imposter syndrome. I'm really second guessing a lot about myself. Not about myself in particularly, but about my writing style, which I think honestly has been happening for a while, me just kind of second guessing and doubting my skills as a writer, because I am still a pretty young writer. I'm only 25, even though I've been writing for, since 2019. So it's been over 5 years, or has it been just 5 years? No, it's been over 5 years. I don't know. Yeah, it's been over 5 years. I think I'm coming up on year 7. But I'm just a lot of second guessing and just being what's going on kind of thing. Especially considering, so the book that I'm currently working on is a project that I pretty much call JJ's project. It also has a working title of From Home to Scripture. It's a young adult Christian coming of age storyline where my main character, JJ, has some sort of dissociative disorder. I've never actually, diagnosed him with, what kind, it's weird to say I've never diagnosed, but, as an author, I don't, whenever it comes to mental health issues, I don't label them. I've never labeled, oh, this person has, any, whatever, OCD or anything like that. Actually, now that I think about it, typically when I write characters, they're all pretty much just classic humans or, classic animals or whatever they are, character-wise. But I don't want to say classic either, but, they're not neurospicy. They're just, I don't know what the word is. But they're just neurotypical, atypical. So it's just, I don't know, this is the first time that I'm really, diving deep into the fact that, this character is, I was gonna say, I guess it is divergent, but, this character just has more, I don't want to say more depth, because all my characters have had depth, but it's just, this story is different, because it's taking care, going through the perspective of a young gentleman. Well, he's not a gentleman, really. He's a 17-year-old boy. But it's going through his life as he discovers more about himself. So it's very, basic category of the book, like if I was to define the plot as self versus self, or really system versus alter, because like I said, he has some sort of dissociative disorder. I'm not sure if it's DID, which is dissociative identity disorder, other specified dissociative disorder, or OSDD, or I think I've heard like PDID, which I'm not sure what that stands for. I don't know, like there's a wide range, and also like I feel like with mental health disorders and diagnoses, like the diagnosis is kind of on a spectrum. I feel like some people are very like, bam, this like one thing category, like cat defines me, while others, like, they have aspects of all different types. And like that, I like, obviously, like, every person is a dynamic character. And even sometimes, like, if you are leaning more towards one, that doesn't mean you're like every other person who is only diagnosed with that one disorder. So it's hard for me to be like, yes, this is the story I'm supposed to tell. Well, actually, I feel that this is the story I'm supposed to tell. It's just, I don't know if I'm equipped to tell it. But I'm also like, that is such a bold-faced lie that I'm telling myself right now. Because I know that this story is not only going to help others out there in the world, it's helping me as a writer. Also me as a person in general. Like, so the reason why the character JJ has multiple personalities was kind of a fluke. Like, I had no idea he was going down this path. Originally, I thought he was just had selective mutism. I didn't think he had any bullying, like any real abuse. He was just was more reserved. But as I've been writing the story, like, it it keeps evolving every single time. And yeah, which I feel like just makes the story better. Like, I want to make sure I fully flesh out the world, the character, to make sure it's the best I can possibly make it. But when it comes to JJ's kind of multiple personalities stuff, I almost related a lot to my own system. And like, I feel like I've told you guys before, if you don't know, I am somebody who has multiple personalities. I typically, like, on this channel, like the Chaotic Kids channel is pretty much what I go by. Like, that's what my system name is. But personally, like, people just call me Michelle. They don't know really my other alters. They just know me, like, me as in Michelle, like, whoever's fronts as me. Well, fronts as Michelle, or the Michelle that we've designed for them to know, kind of thing. Yeah, but so with JJ, it's right now kind of a lot of like inner world workings, and like, the story pretty much takes place only in his head. Well, not, I don't, that sounds weird to say, but like, when it comes to interacting with the outside world, it happens only a select few times. Like, there's moments wherever, like, I just wrote a scene a couple days ago where the body was going to sleep, it was just the body, not really JJ, because JJ is actually like a name of an alter. But the body was going to sleep, and there was a thunderstorm. But yet, and there was some arguing going on upstairs, and the character JJ's little brother came into his room wanting to sleep there, because he doesn't like being around upstairs because of the drama that happens in the house. So he went to bed with JJ, and the character, his name's Rowan made the comment. He was like, JJ, are you okay? You feel different, or something like that. And the alter who was in control at that time is actually a non-human cat alter. And I can go down a whole rant about why I chose that, but also why it's almost making me second guess things, which I will probably do. But his little brother, is like, are you okay? But yet the body doesn't answer, kind of thing. So it's a weird state right now where I'm at with, like, how things are developing, kind of thing. Because there's like several different paths that I could take to continue on. Because, like, I'm in the third act. I need to, like, I feel like for the fourth act, it's going to be a lot of, like, healing for JJ. But also at the same point, like, maybe this point that I'm at is almost the beginning of Act 4, or, like, the end of Act 3 into the Act 4. I'm just not sure. Like, there's just so many things that I'm unsure of right now, and it is bothering me. And I'm just someone who, as much as I'm okay with the chaos, I still like to have some sort of semblance of understanding what's going on. And that is not what's happening right now. Like, with JJ, I have no idea what's happening. Which, again, is something that I'm used to with my writing, but yet I sometimes have an idea, or, like, a rough idea that then gets changed. So I don't know right now. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and I'm going to go more deeper into my more problems right now, what I'm having. So I'll be right back, okay? Okay, so let's kind of dive deep into why this imposter syndrome is happening. So, in the story of JJ's project, I currently have the body kind of in, like, the shutdown state that the characters all call it. Basically, it's like the body's on autopilot. It's whenever, like, I relate this to myself. Whenever my brother's like, the lights are on in the house, like, you can see that I'm awake, but yet there's no one driving the ship, kind of thing. Which that happens a lot whenever I have my spells, but I'm like, it also happens whenever I just get so not even in my own head, it's just whenever I am, like, physically drained by the outside world, and, like, I'm overstimulated to a point, like, I will have these shutdown states where, like, I just lay in bed scrolling on YouTube. Sometimes I'm not even scrolling, I'm just, like, watching the same video, like, 5 times. Which hasn't happened to me in a while, but I would say back whenever I was first getting, like, not necessarily getting diagnosed, because I've never been officially diagnosed with any sort of dissociative disorder, but whenever I was first discovering it, I was very much, like, only in my bed. I can't even remember that time frame because, like, I was in a dark spot, but honestly, I can't remember the dark spot. And, sometimes I'm like, oh, it might have been an alter who was in control, but, like, there was nothing. There was no emotion. There was nothing. There was just bleh. And so I'm just sitting here now, like, kind of thinking, like, this is the same kind of situation that JJ's in. Like, the body and the way it reacts with the world outside is just bleh. So I'm like, at this point that I'm like, okay, how am I going to get them out of this bleh state into more of a healing state? Which, granted, I'm not expecting JJ's story to end with, like, a happy little everyone's okay kind of thing. It's more like he's going to get to a point where he's more open with his family, maybe even having an arrest to get rid of somebody who is a very bad person. Just, like, getting the family to a stable spot. And that's kind of the end goal. Even though I do have, like, I just don't want to go deep into it, but I do have an idea for another story that'll have a character who's more healed of dissociative identity disorder, or at a different stage of JJ's story, and have them connect with JJ. Anyways, in JJ's story, we have this non-human alter. His name is Cloud. He is a cat alter. And now, some people say that non-human alters are not real. Like, if you have a non-human alter, that means instantly you are faking it. Then there are others who say like non-human alters are normal, which I would say I personally, for me, I would think non-human alters are normal because I have some. I think I have 3 non-human alters. They're all cats. I personally do it. I don't want to say I do it, but I have them because I grew up with cats, and honestly, like, whenever I was anxious, I would go outside and try to be comforted by the cats. Even though for some reason my personal ones are mountain lions, which you're not like, why would you have mountain lions? But anyways, but like the difference for me is like my non-human alters don't front. Like, they cannot control, like, they don't have access to control the body. Like, it's not like we are going to, I don't know, this is gonna sound weird, but like, it's not like we're gonna go outside and crawl around on all fours or anything like that. Like, even though I have heard of a story of a girl who had some severe trauma happen to her, which resulted in her like going outside and living with the animals, and her pretty much having an alter that is like she feels most comfortable in animal form. Well, in animal form, like all running on all fours and stuff. But that's personally not me. Like, I don't have that kind of trauma. So I'm like, I'm on this fence of like, yes, they're real. Yes, they're like, no, they're not real kind of thing. So I don't know. It's just different. But again, it depends on the line of severity. But anyway, so I decided to have this non-human alter, this cat named Cloud. I decided to have him in the story because for me, my animal alters are like comfort animals. Like, they come to comfort my littles, which are like, they're alters that have younger minds, and they're kind of still set in the childlike state, but they're not children. Anyways, so Cloud takes care of every alter in the story based on what they need. Like, sometimes he will, and he's kind of more of a shapeshifter, but he always stays focused in the cat form. So, sometimes he's a big fluffy he's a big fluffy lion, to comfort the little who calls him my little, like, puffy Cloud. Sometimes he's like a big, bulky, like, slim down, I think it's African lion. But like, he's big, bulky, like, protector, which is with the protector, like the physical protector. Sometimes he's a little kitten. That kind of comes out whenever he is kind of associating with this other alter who usually uses escapism a lot to escape reality. So it's sometimes nice to just have like that little animal that messes around with you kind of thing, But so, the body is in shutdown, and Cloud is the only one who's, for the lack of a better word, awake. Like, he's witnessing everything happening, but yet he can't interact and like he can't interact with the body and be like asking for help. Like, he can't like, there's a control panel and he can't be like push a paw. Like, I kind of envision the inner headspace for JJ kind of like Inside Out. So push some buttons on the control panel, it glows your light, reflecting you. He can't do that. But yet he's able to interact with all of his alters, like all of his headmates. So, I'm just at this point where like Cloud has kind of fallen asleep, which I don't necessarily like. Like, I don't like having not animals. I don't like having characters fall asleep at the end of a chapter, but sometimes it's just a really good way to end the chapter. And I will say, when it comes down to like ending the day on a chapter, like, or just ending the day at, whenever they fall asleep, those are not chapters that happen back to back. Like, it's more like this one time, like, the days don't last for one chapter, if that makes sense. And sometimes I do just have a time gap, you know? But anyways, so the character Cloud is falling asleep. And I'm at this point where I'm like, how do I progress into like transitioning it from the end of Act 3 into transitioning it to Act 4? And I'm like, I have no idea. Personally, like, I have no idea. And whenever it comes to like this whole fact of it being dissociative identity disorder, I struggle because I'm like, am I equipped to write this story? Because like, as much as I feel like I'm a system and I've been told by people I'm a system, I still second guess it because like I don't have a diagnosis, you know? And I know a diagnosis won't save and like won't heal me from everything, but it's still at the end of the day me like wondering like, is it this? Is it not this? So I'm like, I don't know. And it's hard to think like what to do kind of thing. I hope this is making sense, but like I am also like looking into the future of my writing career and stuff. And right now, for me and my system, we're going through a lot of different changes. Like a lot of us alters are wanting to heal because we have this 5-year goal to becoming a religious sister. But others are very much like, we don't need to do this. We don't need to heal. We're perfectly fine. And some of us are like, dude, you can't believe that. But so like just relating this to the story, like it's like Cloud believes in the lie that like I am unworthy. I am just a cat. I cannot do anything. And that we kind of relate to that because like we're just a nobody from a ho punk little town. So it's like we feel like we're invalid, which we felt for a long time. So it's all just this point where I don't know how to put it other than like we're just us as a system and also the character JJ are going through a lot of like similar things but in different aspects. And I kind of dislike this because I don't want to like it's not I don't want to relate my real life to my story life. Well, it's not even my story, it's a character's story. But yet at the same point it kind of feels understandable. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now. It's just a lot of ups and downs right now. Whenever it comes to writing, we are planning on doing a little bit of writing sprints today. Not writing sprints in the sense of writing the story. We're just gonna have like a few questions we're gonna answer. Hopefully we'll kind of get more of a solid idea of what we're gonna do. Which, as I've been thinking about it for the last day and a half, like, I think I have an idea. I'm just unsure. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna basically be closing out this video here, but, like, I'm definitely going through imposter syndrome, which, you know, maybe the next video will be me talking more about my writing style. I don't know what it'll be. But for right now, I'm kind of taking a little bit of a break from writing, just so I can process, kind of think like, okay, this, and this need to happen and kind of stuff like that. Also today is a Friday and I won't be getting back to writing either on Sunday or on Monday. Just because Saturdays are my religious days, my reading days. Sometimes I push that into Sundays. So that's kind of going to be taken. But I might work on Monday or I might continue to brainstorm and just think things over. So I don't know. But I guess I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me down in the comments down below if you ever dealt with imposter syndrome. Or if you've ever just, I guess imposter syndrome kind of like this like I have no idea what to do, kind of feeling unworthy kind of thing, or not equipped to write the story, I'd be interested in hearing. So, yeah, I hope you guys all have a lovely day, and remember to keep making fantasies come true, one story at a time, okay? And I'll see you guys later, okay? Bye!